All right.
We're in, hey.
So it's another episode of the Bigger Than Real Estate podcast.
Bigger than real estate, okay.
Yeah. We have our boy Kyle here with us this time.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, we got the co-host Travis Eamon as usual.
How we doing?
How you doing? So Kyle, I'm gonna let you have like a little brief second, say your first name, whatever.
Sir, so my name's Kyle. Growing up, went to high school with Michael Nelson. First time meeting Travis. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course.
I'm coming to you guys from the fitness industry.
Okay.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Okay, for
thank
sure.
you guys for having me.
No problem. We
Thank
respect
you for coming.
Now,
Yeah,
of course.
We appreciate it.
So as per usual, we have our little segments within every episode. So the first segment, we got.
Yeah. So again, it's just a little couple icebreaker questions.
Okay.
But as you are thinking, trademark, you take a drink and you think.
Yeah.
And today we're drinking Budweiser Prohibition Brew,
Okay.
non-alcoholic.
Exactly.
Non-alcoholic.
We got
This
a special one.
because of me.
Yeah. So tell our listeners right now just about how come you don't drink.
Yeah. Okay. So let me take my sip.
There you go.
I like it.
Take a drink and think.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers up.
So I don't drink alcohol mainly because of my health. I have a disease called gout.
Oh, okay.
So it's a type of arthritis where there's a lot of trigger foods that can swell up your joints.
Okay.
So what happens with gout is you get a buildup of these uric acids in your bloodstream, right? And everybody has it. It's just with me and people with gout, they have higher concentrations, right? So when I'm in a flare-up, there's all these crystals in my blood, and they get stuck as they pass through the joint. So every time I move, it hurts. So I basically just try to stay away from alcohol, red meats, a lot of the bad foods.
Right.
Just to control my diet and control these flare-ups that I'm having so that I'm able to actually move effectively and efficiently.
Okay, that's cool.
So that's the whole reason behind the no alcohol thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's completely understandable. I like that.
Going through after high school and stuff when people are partying and stuff, how did you deal with that?
So I didn't have it until about just like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So after high school, during my tenure at York University,
There you go.
where I was
There you
studying kinesiology and health sciences. I was there. I was out there with the crowd. So
You got to experience the fun. Yeah.
But at York, that's where I actually, realized and fell in love with my passion, which is fitness and health.
Right.
And that's where I realized that, this industry, you can actually help a lot of people. Because a lot of people, they really don't know what they're doing when it comes to exercising and things like that. So what I want to be is basically just a resource that's out there for people to come to who are confused or who are lost during their journey, right?
For sure.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. All right, so we're just gonna ask you like a couple of questions, just kind of break the ice, kind of bring you into it. You know what I'm saying?
All
so
right.
Travis, go ahead.
All right, so we'll start with the first one. So if you could choose any superpower or be any superhero, what would it be or who would you be?
Superhero?
Take a drink and
Take a
think.
drink and think. Take
Cheers.
a drink and
No,
think.
of course.
Tastes like water,
Yeah.
but different.
It does kind of taste like alcohol. I mean, I've never had this before.
That beer taste. If I could have any superpower, mine would definitely be flight.
Okay.
Flight.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because, as a big sports fan, I grew up watching the best dunkers, especially basketball, right? And so flight was always those things that was so intriguing to me, and being off the ground. So. And then everything that comes with flight, so you get places faster.
Yeah.
It's probably just swag. More than anything, just pull up to a party and you just swoop in. Like, who's that guy? Oh, of course it's Kyle. That would definitely be one of the superpowers on my top list. Yeah.
Where's the first place you're flying to?
First place I'm flying to, somewhere with a nice beach. Yeah. I'm in love with the beach. Like,
Anywhere particular?
probably I would have to go to Philippines first.
Okay, yeah,
Just,
Cebu?
yeah.
Yeah, that's where
Home
my
and
wife's
native land.
That's where my wife's from.
Oh yeah,
She's
nice.
born there. Yeah.
Born there, nice. Yeah, it's I've been there once, and their beaches are like spectacular.
Yeah.
White sands, crystal
Yeah.
clear waters. It's,
I gotta
it's
get
amazing.
over there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She keeps telling me I'm gonna get
Next
kidnapped
trip.
though. Yeah, bro. Shit's crazy over there.
That's love. That's love.
All right, so we'll move on to the second question. So if you were home on a rainy Sunday afternoon, what movie are you watching?
What movie am I watching?
Take a drink and
my.
think. Take a drink and think.
Cheers.
All right, we'll cheers it up.
What movie am I watching?
Yes, sir.
I like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
He's one of my top guys too. And one of the movies that I would probably watch, I'll give you two. The first one is Catch Me If You Can, which is a old classic.
Yeah, that's a
and
good
then
movie.
Yeah, very good.
the second one is a newer one, which would be Wolf.
Wolf,
of
yeah,
Wall-
Wolf is always
Wall
one of those
Street.
movies.
Yeah, that one's a good movie.
Always.
Whoa. Got a panic look on his
Yeah,
Random-
it
face.
looked like
Yeah,
I was
random
recording
pause.
over
Oh my,
what we were doing.
But we're good.
but we're good.
Let's take a quick break. All right, go ahead.
Let's get it.
Yeah, so Catch Me If You Can first. I would watch that movie on a rainy Sunday if I had nothing else to do. Just because of like it's that cat and mouse type movie.
Yeah.
You know, the bad guy who you feel like is the good guy is always trying to con who is actually the good guy.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, you just buy into the whole story, and you know, you feel like you're part of it. Like, oh, how's he gonna get away this time? Right? Catch Me If You Can. And then with Wolf, it's just that there's a lot of hype
Yeah.
in that
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
and you know, it's one of those movies where you feel like, you know, oh, I could actually do this.
Yeah.
Right, based on a true story.
Yeah.
You kind of see like a different perspective on like what the financial industry is
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and you see like the hard work that gets put into it, and so you see like, you know, if that was a possibility, maybe I could go into that, and this is how I would do it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of exciting like that, right? So you're living through Jordan Bell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So it's cool.
I love that movie.
it's a very good
Yeah,
movie.
that's
Yeah,
always one of the ones that I
Good
just
choices, good
start.
options. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. All right. Last question. All right. So if you could be the owner of any company in the world, what would it be? And on top of that, and what would you do to make it better?
Ooh, good question.
Take a drink and think.
Take a drink and think.
Segment. Take a drink and think. Sponsored.
Thank you, bud. If I could own any, it has to be an existing company.
Go. Just speak about what you're thinking.
If I could be the owner of any company in the world, it would have to be my own.
Yeah.
Right? Just because, you know, growing up, you see like everyone around you, they get into these careers and then they start getting comfortable, right? For me, I don't have that same like likeness of being comfortable. I want to be out there in the industry and trying to set like a new frontier,
Right.
basically. So anything with innovation in the fitness industry, I want to be part of. And so if I were to have my own company, it would definitely be revolving around fitness, and like compared to the commercial gyms nowadays or everything else in the fitness industry, it's so cliche.
Yeah.
Right. You have like people want who are getting into fitness. They feel like they need a certain type of body. They need a certain type of look. Right. Whereas I want to come at it from a perspective where it's a lifestyle.
Right.
Right. It's something that's supposed to enhance you and your body. With that being said, take another drink.
Take a drink and think. Take a drink and think.
With that being said, what I would change is a lot of people like to say that, you know, they're coming from a people-centered approach, which is which is key in the industry, but I feel like not a lot of people care, right? They just want to say that just because, it sounds right.
Yeah.
So what I would really change is basically the screening process of how to get, quality people who actually care in front of their client, right? And so that's what I think that I would make the biggest change in, because with the commercial gyms and places like that, their main focus is the bottom line.
Exactly.
Get in as many people as you can, and then if they fall off, they fall off. Right. And then there's no pressure on us to keep them.
Right.
There might be, but it's not to a point where it's like we keep them because we care, not because it's because of the money. Right?
Yeah. How do you think you could control something like that, especially with companies like Good Life and LA Fitness, who have so much people that they need trainers? But again, you can get a weekend course to become a trainer at those places.
I think it definitely starts with the screening process, right? Just understanding like what people's intentions are, right, going into it, because people see that the fitness industry can be very lucrative, right?
Exactly.
People are willing to pay because they simply don't know what they're doing, right? And it's tough, but it has to be like a process that started from the beginning. So everything from the interview part to like making them realize, what work has to actually be put in to be somebody who cares for another person's fitness journey, right? Because I feel like people get into it just thinking it's just exercise. You know, I could just give you like a list of exercises and you can do
exactly.
and then I'm your trainer.
Whereas,
it's there's a lot more that goes into it, and
specific to each person.
I don't think people realize that, right? So just bringing the awareness that what it takes, it's more than just like you guys say, bigger than real estate. It's more than just fitness.
Exactly, it's a lifestyle.
And then if I was to ask just one last question on this, if you owned your own company, right, would you try to become just the best in one city, one company, like just one area, one location, or would you franchise? Take a drink and think. Take a drink and think. Because obviously when you franchise...
So that comes down to like when would I be ready to scale? Right. If I'm just getting started and I'm new to it, right, and I've basically taken my city and capitalized on that for like a certain amount of time, then I would look into franchising, right? But right off the bat, I don't think so. I would want to focus and figure out like what works first, and then scale out from there, because a lot of the times businesses that scale too fast end up failing, right? Because they're not ready for it. So, it's a two-parter, right? Because first you want to hit that target point and that threshold before you're able to scale out, right? That's my thinking behind that.
So with the scale out aspect, this is assuming that your company would be brick and mortar. Is that correct? Okay. So like so you go into an LA Fitness or whether those kind of companies, and a lot of their thing is they like to bring in salespeople to actually increase the company's size, right? And then maybe they'll have some fitness trainers on the floor. So with that being said, how would you kind of have your management trained differently in a way that you could still bring in clientele, but have a different approach than just being a salesperson?
Take a drink and think. Take a drink and think.
Oh my. I don't think I have the answer for that one yet.
That's fair.
That would be a lot of like research would have to go into that, right? Because people are complex, right? They change on a daily basis. Right? So if you train them one day, one day they can be all into it, and then the next day they wake up on the wrong side of the bed, everything switches, right? So understanding that it is a people first industry, you got to do what it takes to keep your employees and your staff happy, right? So just keeping that in mind, and then going forward with research on like behavioral questionnaires and things like that will help you basically filter out through the people who can cut it and who can't, right?
Okay.
And I think that's powerful too, like in terms of knowing what you should be doing. Because people start their own business and they try to juggle every single title. When hiring people can make the process so much easier.
Exactly.
So if you, that's I think what they're handling.
Yeah.
Better and
honestly, like when you have your
right?
own business, it's very overwhelming. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, I was in it, right? The year, like literally right after graduation, I tried to do my whole business self-employed thing, right? As a trainer, and it was very, very, very overwhelming, right? Not to say it's not doable, right? It's just for me and where the spot that I was at the time, I don't think I was ready.
Yeah.
And but that's changing now, right? As time goes on, we grow, we understand
Exactly.
what we need to do
Exactly.
to become better, right?
Yeah.
So that's
It's easier to learn through the mistakes than not trying at all, right?
exactly.
Okay.
Good segment. Good
Very
segment.
Broken ice. I hope so.
Broken bottle. All right.
All right. So now, I mean, we briefly talked about it, but we're going to give you the stage again just to talk about yourself. Go into detail about who you are, where
Who's
you're
Kyle?
from.
Okay.
Who's Kyle, where you grew up,
Yeah.
and exactly what you're doing today, you know?
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Your thing.
So let's give me the
Shall
mic.
begin?
Thank you. Clank, clank. Okay, so where to begin? My name is Kyle Rexeno. 25, born in Mississauga, raised in Brampton. Went to a local high school, St. Margaret de Ville. That's where I met Michael. He was my football captain, so I, growing up, really looked up to this guy. He brought me my first Robson championship.
Shout out.
Shout out to the bill.
And then, after high school, I mentioned this before, went to York University, studied kinesiology and health. The reason I chose that path was I felt like I was just a natural athlete, right? So growing up, played sports like basketball, football, rugby, literally volleyball, every sport you can name it, I wanted to be part of, right? So just understanding the biomechanics and the physics behind like movement, which is kinesiology, right? I kind of just wanted to chase that passion, right? And so when I was studying there, that's when I really found my passion of fitness and health and how we can really help people through movement. Right. There was one class I took in university where it was like a relaxation and meditation class where you actually just learn the science behind like your nervous system and how it heals the body, and then just like things like different relaxation methods that actually help reduce stress levels, right? So a big thing that I took away from that class was if you journal, right, that gets a lot of the stuff that's inside of your head into the physical world. And you don't keep it bottled up anymore. It's on a sheet of paper, and then you do what you want with it, right? So if you want to keep it, you keep it as a reminder, or if you want to, like, let's say, write down some few thoughts and then get rid of it, then it's not with you anymore, right? So I felt like that was a powerful tool that a lot of people could use, and so if I'm able to share different types of techniques like that with other people, then overall we'll have a much more healthy society. And then so my time at York was very fun. Met a lot of cool people there. A lot of people who are still in my circle that influenced me a lot, just to be a better person every day, especially when it comes to health and fitness and just like being a good person. After York, I went to Humber, studied exercise science and lifestyle management. From there, I just learned more of the basics of like fitness and health, and then we also started learning about more clinical cases. So people with like health diseases who, as you age, if you're not exercising, then you're more likely to die. Basically, that's what it comes down to. Your body starts failing when you don't use it, right? And that's where my passion continued to grow. So that's when I decided, I see these like bigger gyms like Good Life and LA Fitness, and they're charging like quite a bit of money to train people, and that's when I was like, you know what, well, let me try this on my own. So I jumped into business, tried to do the self-employed trainer life, and as I said before, like I got very overwhelmed, right, and I don't think I was ready for that at the time. I was working with my buddy. His name is Avi. He runs Elite Performance House, right, which is a local fitness and health place in Brampton, and I followed him into business, and it was great. Saw the planning and everything that it took to be successful as a trainer, right, and things continued from there. As I said, I wasn't ready for it, so I kind of switched paths, right? I went into sales, and while I was there, I was kind of working corporate, like this corporate environment. And while I was there, I just realized, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. Going into something like that, because you need money, you need to pay the bills that are over your head.
Yep.
You think that's what you need at the time. Boy, was I wrong. I was. Yeah, so
that's how it goes.
Getting back into fitness now, right? Getting back into the industry. I have a website, www.5minute.com. That's 5minhiit.com. And with that, that's a website which is like another resource that you can use. I want to have it. It's just starting right now, but I want to have it as like the Google of fitness. So if you have any questions or anything like that, this will be the ultimate resource for people who just want to learn about some types of exercises that they can do, right? Or kind of the philosophy behind it is everybody has 5 minutes, and if you can take 5 minutes in your day and use that towards being physically active, that will help you in your fitness journey, whether you're starting or continuing, right? The reason I started this site, it goes back to because people have 3 major objections when it comes to fitness. The first one is they don't have time, right? Hear that a lot. They don't have time, whereas you only need 30 minutes of physical activity per day to be considered healthy and meeting your physical activity goals, right? So they don't have time. The second one is they lack the knowledge, right? So they simply just don't know what they're doing, right? So I want to bring them a resource where they can easily access information about certain exercises, right? And the third one is they lack confidence, right? They lack confidence in the gym because it goes back to number 2. They don't know what they're doing. So by giving them an easy to follow template to practice every day, that will build their confidence.
Oh, that's good. And then touching on that, how important is the physical aspect of the gym to the mental aspect of just the individual?
It ties in, right? If you have a weak mental mind, right, you're not going to be able to perform your best at anything, whether that's writing a test or going for a jog. If your mindset's not in it and you're not ready, then it plays a toll in the physical part of the world, right? So if you're starting in the gym and you're building up that confidence, you become stronger every day. That in turn strengthens your mindset because you tell your body what to do, and then at the end result is that you're doing it, right? And so that just shows you that you can accomplish a lot in a certain amount of time.
That's interesting.
Shit. Take a drink.
Take a drink for sure. Take a drink and think about that.
Yeah.
So I know you touched on the website. For goals moving forward, are you looking to have a spot specifically, or are you going to do more online focused?
So I am looking to keep that online.
Dead.
Maybe.
Dead.
Camera
Yeah, it
died.
said change battery.
Let it be.
Cameras off. Cameras off.
I want to keep the website online.
Yep.
Well, obviously, he has to stay online. But I think, for now, having like my own physical location, that's a lot of overhead that I'm not ready for. And I understand that. So I'm being really patient with it before I get my own spot. But I want to keep the website up and running just so I can have that global reach, One thing I like to think about is my digital presence, right? So with social media nowadays, Instagram is huge, Snapchat is huge, Twitter is huge, but also having your own website. And if people can come together on one site like a Facebook, but something that's just designed for fitness and having that community on there, that's something that I want to strive towards, like building.
Right.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Especially, like, it's crazy. I feel like almost every conversation we touched so far talks about how important the digital world is to growing whatever individual is doing, right? And, like, that's kind of why I asked you about the brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Like, would you still invest in a brick and mortar knowing that we're living in a digital world and where you're starting is a website, right?
Right.
So it's, like, crazy to see how huge a company or brand can grow just from having your website and establishing that kind of connection, right? And it's crazy. So being a trainer and starting as a website, do you still feel you can reach these people with the same connection that you would if you were to see them face to face? And is that like, do you find that kind of how like a pothole or whatever that you're gonna have to get over just to be able to create that kind of feel that you're looking for?
100%. Like, you have to consider it definitely is going to be different, but that's the way the world is trending nowadays, right? Everybody has like a smartphone, and so communication has changed. Like, I don't know how long were you on the phone the last time you were on the phone? Like, it was like probably a 5-10 minute conversation.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, people were on the phone for like 30-40 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But now we're just texting, we can FaceTime each other now, right? And so there are so many ways that we can communicate, and I guess the type of people that I want to connect with are the ones who are able to, follow instruction, who don't need their hands held all the time, right? And that's important, especially when, you're trying to get better, right? If you're dependent on somebody who has to be there physically, how far are you really going to get?
Facts.
Right? Yeah. What happens the moment I step away?
Exactly.
Are you going to fall back into the same routines and the same habits? Because at the end of the day, fitness is a habit.
Yeah.
Right? And that's I think the most important thing that I want to preach, right? It's a habit and a lifestyle. And if you're just trying to do it just one on, one off, you're not going to see any change.
Exactly.
Right? You're going to be in that certain equilibrium, right? Where, nothing changes. Everything that you do for yourself. Even if you want to say you're a selfless person, you're doing something for others because you are selfless.
Yeah.
Right? What you put into your body, right? Your body is going to reflect that. So your diet is just as important as the fitness aspect too.
Right.
If you say you want to lose weight, but you're not eating like you want to lose weight, you're not going to lose
90% of it. 90% of it, right?
Exactly, it comes down to the habits,
and a lot of people, I feel like they confuse their goals, right? They don't want to do the work that's associated with achieving their goals, but they just want to say consistently, like, oh, I want to lose weight. They stay with that same thing, but they never change their behaviors.
Right.
And so what I want to do is I want to instill that, that mindset that this is a habit that, it has to be ongoing.
Yeah. Everyone's looking for the quick fix.
Exactly.
And it's crazy. It's like habits are something that can be changed like really small in increments, but they can make such a big difference. But it's like when we don't see that end result straight away, that habit is so much harder to stick, right? Right. And like even touching on the topic of you saying that you don't want to hold their hand forever, you just kind of want to hold it once and then let them grow apart. That's kind of like the problem that a lot of therapists and anyone within the health sector have. Like they feel that they don't want the other person to become dependent. Yeah. They more want to teach them how to be more independent, right? So I'm guessing that's going to be a huge thing that you're going to be promoting once it comes down to the website. It's like independence, goal setting, and changing habits on a daily basis, correct?
Exactly. Okay. So that's huge, right? Becoming sustainable, having like sustainable habits, that makes you a better person. You know, if you're on and off the train ride every time, you know, you're not going to get far. What it comes down to is basically finding a system, and having it as efficient as possible, right? So no wasted energy,
right?
Right, and I like the word system because when you look at it, look at the word and look at a lot of the companies, they all follow a certain type of system that makes them successful, right? And so I want people to understand as well that, you know, your fitness has to be a system. Keep it as simple as possible, and you can continue with it for as long as possible, right?
Right.
And with the 5-minute lifestyle or the 5-minute training that I'm promoting, it's basically you're taking 5 minutes of your time, breaking them into 1-minute intervals, and working for a certain amount of time. So doing 5 different exercises, 3 to 5 different exercises you can choose, and then doing that for a dedicated 5 minutes, right? What that does is it shows you that you can take a certain amount of time and be focused for that, you know. So I'll give you guys an example. If we were to choose 3 exercises right now, like let's do a push-up, a squat, and a lunge. Okay.
I thought burpee was gonna be in there.
No.
1,000%.
So the idea is to keep it sustainable, right? So if you're overwhelming your body, you're not, and you're not accustomed to it, you're not gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So, building the foundation of of your physical tolerance and what you're able to do, that's the most important key, right? Because without a solid foundation, you're gonna fail.
Right.
So let's say we took these 3 exercises, body weight exercises, right? They're not too challenging. So I would assign them like to a different interval. So for the first interval, we would do squats, right? And depending on your fitness level, you could do anywhere from 20 to 45 seconds continuous, right? And then the remaining part of that minute, so let's say that 30 seconds, you're resting, right? And so it just organizes your workout in a way where you can actually perform and you can actually catch a breath, right? And then so you're so focused into that that exercise at that time that when you move on, you can put your full effort into it. And if you're doing that for 5 minutes, what's stopping you from doing that for more than 5 minutes?
Right.
A lot of people who are working at their jobs usually are sitting down,
most likely,
or they're driving for a long period of time,
right?
Usually categorized as sedentary,
right?
Exactly.
They're not moving at all. And what's shocking to me is that the statistic that about 66% of Canadians aren't hitting their daily physical activity goal of 30 minutes. It's shocking.
Yeah.
Right? 30 minutes, that's like
what, like 2%, 3% of your day?
Like, it's crazy.
It's insane.
And the most mind-boggling part of that is that it doesn't have to be 30 minutes straight, continuous. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, I didn't know that.
It could be broken up throughout your day. So my idea with the 5-minute hit, right, is that you can incorporate this anytime.
Yeah.
Right.
Lunch
You guys
break.
brought up the Netflix on a Sunday, right? If it was raining, I'd be in all day, like probably 8 hours straight of Netflix, right? But I could take 5 minutes out of my day or out of every couple episodes and do like an interval. Right. And that's what I see as like sustainable, you know, as a sustainable lifestyle habit. You don't have to commit too much of a time to actually be working out.
Right.
No, what I find crazy, I know we probably got to move on, but what I find crazy about all this is just like, you're here talking about fitness and the gym, but everything you're talking about, like foundationally, really can result in, like, can turn over to any aspect. Like, you could be talking about business right now. You could be talking about music. Right now. And it's like literally, it's all like those core things, and like that's essentially what you're trying to say is like these habits that you learn through the gym are the same habits that you learn to mentally toughen yourself and apply it into life and kind of grow from there.
Exactly.
So I really think that's like just talking about everything, like creating a system, staying consistent, just starting with 5 minutes. That could be someone that wants to be a writer. Just start with 5 minutes, but you know,
just write a little bit of a story, and then you look back at it 30 days from now, you have 30 pages.
Exactly.
Right? You have a book.
Exactly.
Or a chapter.
And
or
it's funny how, like, with anything, people say they don't have time to do certain things, but all you need is 5 minutes just to start, just to build the foundation.
To start, right?
That's it, right?
That 5 minutes becomes easier and easier as you go on, right? And then you become so in love with the feeling of that accomplishment. I did something, that you want to continue chasing it, right? It's sometimes easier said than done, but I think once you understand like what you need to put into it, like it doesn't need a lot, right? I think I saw you repost this where if you were 1% better every day, right? Yeah. There's like a
huge
compounded effect. So, whereas if you were 1% worse per day, then it really takes more of a toll.
Yeah.
Right. So just finding those little things that you can do to stay consistent, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're consistent with it, you will see the progress.
Exactly.
Right. You can't complete a marathon in one step.
Exactly. What else? What else?
I love that.
I know it sounds cliche, but
it's really true, man.
Mount Everest is an accomplishment for a reason. Not everybody can do it.
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. That's like an extreme sport, but but you have to take that accomplishment. The bigger accomplishments, you have to treat them with the same type of energy as you treat the smaller type of accomplishments.
For sure, right? For sure. Because the smaller ones are what add up to those big accomplishments. And then you reach those accomplishments, you're like, what? This was way different than I thought it would be. Not easier, not harder, just different.
Different state of mind.
Exactly.
All right, well, moving forward, I guess I might know the answer for this, but maybe you'll surprise me. But if you didn't have to work, if you had to work but you didn't need the money, what would you do? Would it still be fitness, or would it be something completely different?
I would still think it's in fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah. The impact that it makes on people's lives is, that's more than money can give you.
Right.
Right. And just being a helpful person, just having the impact, I think that's super important.
Yeah, right.
Right. Because then you accomplish something that's more than materialistic.
Right.
Right. You actually change the way a person, behaves.
Yeah.
And it comes down to building up a better community.
Right.
Right. And a better society. So if we're able to have people who are helping other people out of, because the reward is much more gratifying, then I feel like, we would just be in a better situation.
For sure.
Overall.
For sure. That community aspect is huge, right? Yeah. Once people are helping people, like, it's crazy. If you didn't even need the money, but you just follow with that line and that path, you'd probably end up making more money than you would. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, just
from
being
passionate about something it can help you out so much.
And it comes back to, like, the old, like, proverbs. It takes a village. Right?
Yeah.
It takes a village to raise the kids.
Yeah.
And it touches on that community where I feel like we're missing nowadays because we're so secluded in our own little world, right?
Yeah. Like, our community now has become Instagram and Facebook.
And people are doing it for the gram just to get that recognition, right? Whereas you got to be doing it for you. How does it make you feel? And you can't be doing it for other people.
Right. What legacy will it leave behind?
Exactly.
Are they gonna see you as a person that just kind of takes certain body part pics and puts them up? Or
exactly.
Is it gonna be something that actually helps people grow in a way? Right?
And I like that word you said there, right there, legacy.
Yeah. Right.
Growing up, that was a big word for me because I didn't want to. The whole reason why I stayed away from, like, corporate jobs and things like that was because I wanted to leave something behind that's bigger than me.
Right.
Right. And if I get caught up in corporate and things like that, stuck in a career, then I'm just working for the big man.
Yep.
right? Yeah. And I want to be my own big man for my family and for the people that I come in contact with, right?
Exactly.
So that legacy aspect is huge for me.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful.
All right. So I guess we'll move on to segment 3, which is basically your 30 seconds of fame. So I know you touched on the website.
Yeah.
But go a little bit more into it. Shout it out again if you want to shout out anything else.
Yeah. Firstly, I just want to shout out my support circle, who without them I wouldn't be where I am right now. So big shout out to my good friend Samir, who runs his gym out in Etobicoke called The Essence. And another person who has helped me with my journey is my good friend Ranique, who right now is out in Bali. He's on Instagram, Ranique KVP. Just wanted to give him a shout out because he's been somebody that I've reached out to in the past, just in regards to everything like online, in the online industries. Whereas for myself, running 5minute.com, I wanted to be the ultimate resource for fitness and health. You can find tips on training, so everything from body weight training, weightlifting, and plyometrics. There'll be like a whole guide on there. And then I have a blog page on that too called Coach's Corner, where there'll be articles from people in the industry who are just giving their thoughts and opinions on different things. Okay, so you check that out, 5minute.com, 5 MINHIIT.com.
I like that. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Man.
What's the worst fad in exercise, would you say?
The worst fad?
Yeah.
It definitely has to be yo-yo dieting.
Yo-yo dieting?
Yeah, so yo-yo dieting is when people hop on a different diet every couple weeks because they don't see the results.
Oh, okay.
Whereas, with your diet you have to be consistent with it.
Right.
Right. And a lot of the people who are trying to get into fitness they want to lose weight. Right. That's the most common goal for everybody. But it doesn't start in the gym. It starts in the kitchen. Right. Okay. So figure out what you're eating and what you're putting into your body, and then find out what you like and stay consistent with it.
Right.
Everything has to be in moderation. Right. Otherwise, overconsumption kills us all.
Yeah, very true. What's the one thing you would say to the people that are struggling to take that first step and then be consistent with it?
Take a drink and think.
I don't have any left.
My first suggestion would be to find a support system that supports a healthy lifestyle, because you surround yourself with people that you want to be around and who kind of have the similar goals as you, right? So if you feel like you're not staying on track, or you're not consistent with it, look at the people around you, find out are they supporting my goals, right? That would be the biggest step that you can take, because then once you have that support system behind you, they'll push you to keep going. Right. Even if they're not in it themselves, if you have a supportive cast around you, then they'll continue to push you, even though it doesn't line up with their own personal goals. It lines up with you being a better person, right? So find out who your true friends are, and if you can't find them, or if you don't know who they are, approach somebody at the gym. Be friendly, be social. Talk to somebody. Don't text them.
Right. For sure.
Be in the now. Be in the present. People in the gym, they're not as what's the PC word? Douchey. They're not as bad as you think they are. A lot of people are genuinely willing to help. Right. It's just breaking the ice.
Right.
So be more confident, which is hard to do, but it's possible.
It starts with baby steps, right?
Baby steps. Exactly.
Okay, and like you're saying, so like even just to touch on that, be more confident. So the person, they want to take that baby step, they want to move forward, and they're gonna like kind of try and socialize, find someone that's accountability. What's their first step forward that they can take in kind of being a little more confident? Take a drink and think.
what's the first step in
for they can in being a little more confident,
being a little bit more confident.
Yeah, first step they can do like what it like.
First thing when you wake up, I feel like a nice thing to see is like a nice smile.
Okay.
Right, and so if you know what you look like when you smile, right, then other people. I think that'll give you a better idea of like what other people see when you're smiling.
Yeah.
Right. So smile in the mirror. That would be probably the first thing because if you bring that energy, that positive energy, then nobody can bring you down.
Right.
Right. So if you take a look in the mirror, you smile at yourself, right? Have a little laugh. I think that will go like a long way for people who are just trying to find confidence for the first time, right? Because the smiles are contagious.
Yeah, exactly.
People don't give you like sour faces after you smile.
They can't. Right? Yeah, even if they're having a terrible day, you smile at them, they're not gonna get mad.
Exactly.
That might be the one smile that made a difference. Right?
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
My favorite is smile and head nod.
Sure.
But yeah.
Okay, that's perfect.
That's it.
Any other questions?
Yeah. So I guess are you guys finished your beer?
Pretty much.
Clank, clank.
Another sip.
Shout out to Bud.
All right, so that was a great segment. So we were sipping Budweiser Prohibition Brew, non-alcoholic beverage.
Alcoholic beverage.
So this was different for me. I liked it though. So
it was okay.
So we'll have you rate it out of 10. You've had other beer before, so at least you know.
It tastes like the regular Bud without the little kick at the end.
Yeah.
So I would have to give it for a non-alcoholic beer, stays true to its taste. I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
7.
Beginner score. A little beginner score.
Rookie over there.
Okay, but I liked it.
What you got, Trev?
I liked it. Obviously, it's a non-alcoholic, so you'll probably never see me drinking this again because I'd rather have a lemonade over a beer.
Fair.
Some
water.
But I thought this was gonna be a 1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a solid 4.1.
You give it a 4.1?
4.1. I didn't mind it.
You know what? Like, I'm gonna hop on my review, just straight into it.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I'll probably be on Travis' side. I'll probably never drink this again unless I'm like with my aunts and they don't drink alcohol, just so we can look cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but for the most part, like, I'll give this like a 6.1.
Yeah.
It was.
I was very surprised at how like good it tastes.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't drink
like
it
Bud.
and think, this is non-alcoholic, disgusting. No, I drank it like, Like, if it was a hot day by the beach and no one had alcohol and I was upset, but they had this.
But they had this.
I would still be all right that day.
Right,
you know, the flavor was there. Like, it wasn't too watered down, but it still doesn't have the aggression that beer would have. Like,
don't get it twisted. I wouldn't rate an actual Bud a 7.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That actually
but it stayed true to its taste for a non-alcoholic, so that's why I had to rate it so high.
Definitely. I give it a 6.1. I appreciated this non-alcoholic for real. Man, mine open. I like this.
Thank you, Bud.
Thank you, Bud. Shut up. I'm sponsor.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so, like, other than that, just to wrap it up, Kyle, thank you once again for coming out.
Thank you guys for having me and letting me share my message.
Of course, and we're loving it, like, how you just take fitness with an actual passion. Like, people understand, like, it's not just the money-hungry people in LA trying to sell you something. It's a mind state that you could take baby steps forward and like improve your lifestyle and your life and other criteria as well.
Keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep growing your business.
Everybody has fitness goals, right? So you know they don't have to be huge fitness goals. You know, start somewhere. And then keep going.
Exactly.
So keep on going.
For fitness, for life, for all of it. Exactly. Yeah, I like that. I love it.
You know, it's a mindset that you could take with you like everywhere. You know, you can dedicate 1 hour in the gym. You know, 30 minutes in the gym, 5 minutes at home. You know, you dedicate that time. it shows that you have the mental capacity to do it.
Exactly.
And it transitions to everything else in life.
Exactly. And I love how it's like you break it down so well. Like you take away that hour to 2 hour stigma of going to the gym and make people understand that literally with just 5 minutes in your day can change your life.
And you can do it anywhere.
All you have to do is be consistent. You don't have to be aggressive about it. Go there an hour for a day and then not go for a month.
Yeah.
Be consistent 5 minutes a day and you'll see the improvements.
Exactly.
30 minutes a day, Canada. That's all we need.
Exactly. And not even one 30-minute sitting, which is what I learned today.
Yeah, do it. Crazy. Do it in short bouts. You know, anything is possible.
Exactly. Thank you very much. And that's
so
episode
much,
3 of the Bigger Than Real Estate podcast, Happy Hour. And we hope to hear from you guys shortly. Have a good one.